on strike. We on strike. We on strike. It's a strike. We on strike. You crossing the line.
Local 27.
I'm not worried about none of that. I'm not worried about none of that. I'm not worried about none of that.
It's a strike zone. It's a strike zone. We on strike.
It's a strike line. Come on with that, man. You know the rules, bro.
I got you.
You know the rules, man. Right, come on, man. We on strike, my man. We on strike, man. We not moving nothing. We not moving nothing. We on strike. And that's what it is. That's what it is, man. Respectfully, my man. Respectfully, we on strike. Respectfully.
Tell it to the police.
I will. Respectfully, we on strike. We not moving.
Who fault is it?
Tell that to the mayor. It's the mayor's fault, not ours. It's the mayor's fault. We on strike, man. We not moving enough. We not moving enough. We on strike. And that's what it is. That's what it is, man. Respectfully, my man. Respectfully, we on strike. Respectfully.
Tell it to the police.
I will. Respectfully, we on strike. We not moving. Tell that to the mayor. It's the mayor's fault, not ours. It's the mayor's fault. We on strike. You crossing the line.
Local 27.
I'm not worried about none of that. I'm not worried about none of that. I'm not worried about none of that.
It's a strike zone. It's a strike zone. We on strike.
It's a strike line. Come on with that, man. You know the rules, bro.
I got you.
You know the rules, man. Right, come on, man. We on strike, my man. We on strike, man. We not moving nothing. We not moving nothing. We on strike. And that's what it is. That's what it is, man. Respectfully, my man. Respectfully, we on strike. Respectfully.
Tell it to the police.
I will. Respectfully, we on strike. We not moving. Tell that to the mayor. It's the mayor's fault, not ours. It's the mayor's fault. We not doing that, man. We not doing that. We on strike, man. And that's what we gonna do till we get a fair contract, man. Come on, man. Respectfully, bro. Respect us, man.
So 33 officially went on strike. The city of Philadelphia put its best offer on the table. Unfortunately, District Council 33 did not accept it. It's important to me that you all know that the city of Philadelphia remains committed to reaching a fair and fiscally responsible contract with our municipal workers who are members of District Council 33. We are ready, willing, and able to resume negotiations with the union. In the meantime, we are laser focused on providing essential city services that our residents both need and deserve. We will continue to ensure that public health and safety is our number one priority, and this includes, but is not limited to, police and fire services, sanitation, water, recreation, and streets. All of these essential services and others will continue to be provided by the City of Philadelphia to all of our residents and neighborhoods.
And they will continue to do that for as long as it takes to get the job done. What we cannot have are acts of sabotage, obstruction, or worse, destruction of our city facilities, acts against our residents, businesses, and visitors, and our other dedicated employees who are filling in these roles. We need your help. We need our entire city's help together to get through this until our valued DC 33 colleagues come back to work. Thank you.
Men and women of District Council 33. We are with them each and every day. We will give them their First Amendment rights to engage in the picketing and the activities. But what we cannot do is allow individuals to cause harm to others, to vandalize and destroy. And we will investigate those matters as if any other matter that happens, both with a city employee or anybody of the community. So my charge is to them, we will respect you. We do respect you. But we cannot respect when you get outside of the bounds and engage in activity that is destructive or causes harm to others. One of the things that we're dealing with now is our 911. The most impact for the police department is our 911 dispatch. At 1201, through our team, we have been training in anticipation of a strike. We're always in somewhat of that mode. We activated that plan, and so we are pulling men and women from our patrol asses, from our front line, to come into our radio to move our system. We have a very, very complex dispatch system. We've narrowed that down to make it very functional. We got through overnight. It continues to be a challenge, but the men and women are meeting that charge. As a result of that activity, we have gone before the courts, and I have a colleague here from the law department Andrew, who will step up and give you some updates on where we are in the testimony, who I did along with the fire commissioner as my colleague in court today.
ICE protests spread from city to city. ICE is preparing to deploy its special response teams to multiple Democrat-run cities, including Philadelphia.
So the president is sending teams of tactical agents to illegal immigration hotspots across the country. And one of those which has gone under the radar is the sanctuary city of Philadelphia. And while the entire state of Pennsylvania voted for a secure border in the 2024 presidential election, as you're about to see, Philadelphia did the exact opposite, which is why ICE is now on the way.
You can see things got very tense between Philadelphia police officers that were on scene and these demonstrators that were protesting against some of the actions that ICE have been doing around the country, marching and protesting in solidarity with the protests that are happening in California and Los Angeles.
Police say crowds marched to the Federal Detention Center in Center City became disorderly, blocking traffic right there in major roadways. Police say 15 people were arrested.
I think there's a lot of anger and a lot of frustration in society, and I think sooner or later, people are going to fight back. Everyone is terrified. No one wants to go outside.
I've said for 2 months, sanctuary cities, how we deal with them, we flood the zone. Send many more officers in the community to find a bad guy. If we can't find them in the community, they're going to flood the zone on work sites. So sanctuary cities going to get exactly what they don't want.
I want to give you a look there. At the moment, police took several protesters into custody, including one who was charged with aggravated assault on an officer. Police say some of them ignored orders to disperse, blocked traffic, and endangered public safety.
So these tactical units have the open borders crowd totally furious because they see these as some sort of military occupation. But what none of these people will admit is that ICE wouldn't be sending armored vehicles and troops to cities like Philadelphia if there weren't a good reason for it. And with aggressive protesters rising up here just as they have in Los Angeles and in New York, local police sure have their hands full, and they don't have the resources to control mobs of aggressive activists who will stop at nothing to shut down what they believe is the ongoing fall of our once great and free country, which these protesters fail to realize will cease from being a country the moment it ceases to have a border or enforce its laws. But sadly for Philadelphia, which is one of the few sanctuary cities in states that voted for President Trump, these activists believe that not enforcing immigration law makes America stronger, and they think freedom and liberty are totally compatible with the tens of thousands charged by Mexican cartels for smuggling untold numbers of people across the U.S. border, including gang members and terror watch list suspects. And that brings us to the real reason these tactical teams are on the way. Most of America is cooperating with federal immigration enforcement, but a small handful of cities, they've made themselves the heart of a resistance movement that has just made them a magnet for criminals. And as we're once again seeing gangs retake apartment complexes in Colorado, while continuing their reign of human exploitation in cities like New York, the mere idea that no-go zones could exist in the US of A of all places is repulsive to most of us. And most of us aren't offended by the idea that our country has a border.
Police took several protesters into custody. Action News was out here in the area of 11th and Market when all of that was happening. In all, we're told 15 people were arrested, including one who was charged with aggravated assault on an officer.
So as you can see, Philadelphia is just a few steps removed from LA at this point. Luckily, the police here aren't having any of it, but sadly, neither are the protesters.
I think this is a very tense situation. I think there's a lot of anger and a lot of frustration in society, and I think that sooner or later, people are going to fight back. There's going to be movement, and I think there's going to be a lot of big things coming. Yeah.
These protesters, their goal is to fight back, which is why tactical teams are on their way to cities just like this. And the stage is set. These mysteriously well-funded activists have promised to mimic their brethren in Los Angeles and stage uprisings and never give up, fighting for the rights of illegal immigrants who've snuck into our country with the help of criminal gangs and cartels, helping them make billions off the backs of the law-abiding in this country. But as you're about to see, these tactical teams, they are more than prepared to deal with any protesters.
It's like we're a third world nation where people think it's okay to threaten the life and safety of federal law enforcement officers and their families.
So let's break this down. The move would mobilize special response teams, which are tactical units under ICE, to Chicago, Seattle, Philadelphia, the D.C. area, and New York. These teams come armed with Bearcat vehicles, essentially Humvees, which are essentially armored transports, long guns, and tactical vests. Now, they were most recently used in L.A. as those protests were beginning. Today, the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights spoke to me about their concerns of having these crews in town. Partially, they feel it only furthers and helps to escalate tensions and potentially lead to what we've been seeing in LA.
So you have to have this militarized, well-armed force if you want to protect officers who are going into an area where these protesters think it's their right to put their hands on police and shake them up to try and get their message across. That's ridiculous. And if law enforcement has a job to do, they're going to do it, and they sure can't let lawlessness stop them. Because if that happens, places like Philadelphia will just attract more and more criminals and will turn into complete no-go zones. Think about that. These sanctuary cities, if you're a criminal in America with an immigration violation, these are your best chance at staying here for as long as possible. The local population, they're sympathetic towards your plight because they don't understand what it does to our country. They also don't care if you're a gang member hiding in plain sight or that you're here illegally, because to them, that just makes you a victim of the worst country ever, America.
Immigration status. Just take a look right behind me at this crowd. It's been growing for the last couple hours. We're right outside of the detention center here in Philadelphia. Now, things have been feeling intense for the immigrant community in our city, especially in South Philly today. Now, take a look at this video that was shared on a public Facebook page and made its rounds on social media. It shows a man being arrested by agents wearing DEA vests. This was reportedly happened on 7th and Cider this morning around 7 a.m. The DEA said that this was an assisted arrest with the ERO. That is the Enforcement Removal Operations, which is a subsection of ICE. We have spoken with a DEA representative, and we're still working on confirming the identity of that man and whether he had a warrant out for his arrest. Neighbors say this activity has left their community on edge.
So everyone protesting at this ICE facility, they really believe that multiple federal agencies are combining forces to arrest one specific person who may not have done anything wrong. They really think ICE and the DEA are out there picking people up off the streets for no reason. But ask yourself, why on earth is something like this happening? Was this really just a random arrest of somebody that just so happened to be here illegally? Or were they going after one of the people listed on the ICE website who are very dangerous, very bad, and have criminal records so long and horrendous, even being around these people is a risk for you and your family? And remember, as the rest of America cooperates and helps federal law enforcement do its job, these criminals, where are they gonna go? They're gonna hide out in places where they know they're protected.
I want them to focus on the cities, because the cities are where you really have what you call sanctuary cities, and that's where the people are. I look at New York, I look at Chicago. Biden allowed 21 million people to come into our country. People from gangs, people from jails. They emptied their jails out into the U.S. Most of those people are in the cities, all blue cities, all Democrat-run cities.
Right, so it's not a secret that if you're one of the bad guys, go to a place where local laws will protect you. In sanctuary cities, if you get arrested for committing some crime as part of your gang, the local police, they won't even turn you over to ICE. And practices like these make America less safe, because these criminals, they don't just stay put, they export their crime, like the Tren de Aragua gang does to cities around New York and around Denver, Colorado. They're back in Aurora, taking over more apartments. And since Philadelphia is close to New York and also doesn't like to cooperate with ICE, it makes total sense for an increased level of law enforcement activity to start taking place here and for tactical teams to be deployed. Otherwise, you're going to have criminals escaping from one sanctuary city and hiding in another. And in a way, the entire Northeast here in America is a magnet for some of the worst criminals out there.
That deployment, the courts will sort that out, but don't have any illusions about this. I mean, the president can flood the zone with federal personnel. They may or may not be guardsmen, but there's a rather large federal government that enforces federal law. And you just had Democratic leaders, including one who said, look, the federal government just has to retreat from Los Angeles and other cities, and peace can be restored.
If that happens, we're not a country anymore. If the country gives up on certain cities, those cities have won. That's a terrible idea, but that's what the activists want. They say, oh, if ICE would just leave us alone, none of this would be happening. You can't have cities across the country that make up their own laws and do exactly what they want. And you can't have cities that help hide federal fugitives who commit crimes across the country. And here's how that works. The first time apartments in Colorado were taken over by gang members, one of these gang members, who was apparently the leader, fled and came to New York and was hiding out in an apartment for several months before getting caught. And that was several months ago. You've already got criminals who are smart enough to realize that they can bounce between sanctuary cities and evade law enforcement indefinitely.
You said he can do it. The president could go into these blue cities that called themselves sanctuary cities and took all these folks in. Eric Adams is mayor of one of those cities, New York, right here in New York City. And here he shares his thoughts on where Democrats stand on this issue. Listen.
The overwhelming number of Democrats in this city, they believe with me that 79% stated that if you commit a crime and you are undocumented after you serve your time, you should be deported. 79%. They believe in me in supporting our police. They believe in pro-business. They believe in not having a revolving door criminal justice system.
If that's the case, the president has support, at least in this city, for his efforts.
Well, what's interesting is that...
So the president's going to have support for this everywhere, because as the country watches these sanctuary cities implode on themselves with these rioters attacking everything and destroying everything in the name of protecting criminals who shouldn't even be here to begin with, those of us who know this is wrong are going to want it to stop. As most Americans don't want gang members or people actively breaking our laws living amongst them. And these people really believe that when a man is arrested by multiple federal agencies at once, he's done nothing. Nope. He was wrongfully persecuted. This is just getting ridiculous at this point.
Frankly, are paying taxes and they're law-abiding, and they've been here for many, many years.
And Tom, Governor Newsom, I just want to pull up, he said that this is a plan to incite violence and chaos in blue cities. Is that the plan, Tom?
No, it's not. Governor Pritzker is just wrong. Most of them, first of all, they're not law-abiding. They enter the country illegally, which is a crime. Many don't pay taxes; they're paid on the table.
Right.
So to say the law-abiding is it's just wrong. Look what President Trump is doing. I've said for 2 months, sanctuary cities, how we deal with them, we flood the zone. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the jail, in the safety and security of jail, which is safer for the officer, safer for the alien, certainly safer for the community, then we're going to flood the zone. We're going to send many more officers in the community to find a bad guy. If we can't find them in the community, then we're going to flood the zone on work sites. So sanctuary city is going to get exactly what they don't want. More officers in the neighborhoods, more officers on work site to find a bad guy. And the thing is, when we find a bad guy, the criminal threat, the public safety threat, many times are with others. Others, they may not be a criminal threat, but in the country legally, we're not telling ICE to walk away from them. ICE is going to uphold the hold they took, and they're going to arrest the non-criminals. So sanctuary city...
You have to do.
Go over there and sub to his channel, y'all. Sharing his content, so might as well promote his channel too. Y'all get over there and sub the Cash Jordan channel, y'all. Be y'all sneak preview.